Welcome to the Nuclear Snail channel. As I've promised to you in one of my last videos, I'm going to be talking about this scrap metal armor this time. And if you watched my fabric composite armor video, you've seen that I had a composite sheet with fabric scraps and wood glue. And I was about to process it into a corset. So here is also this corset. So we're going to be looking at this today. I'm gonna be giving you design tips and crafting tips and just talking about it, so by the end of this video you will have seen something entertaining and something that will hopefully make your crafting and designing better. So let's start with this, because as usually with this type of videos I will be undressing myself for you gradually as we progress, so I can show the multiple layers of my costume, because layers are important. So let's start with this arm guard. So this is also made from that composite scrap fabric material, and it is held in place with just some stretch. That's it. Just some stretch material, so it slides on and off. It is very light, so when I move around, I mean, after a while I could probably shake this off if I really tried. And it does take an occasional pulling it up a bit, but all in all it sits real solid, and I really like this fastening method. The advantage of this is obviously that it's very fast, just some usual bolts and washers method right here on both sides. The disadvantage is that to get into it you kind of have to push your hand through this, and doing it the first time I did scratch it up, because the surface of this composite material, it's not perfect, so it's like, it gave me like tiny scratches, nothing too bad, but it was nasty. So the way I get into this now is I will take my long sleeve, and this is a short German Army long sleeve, so you don't get your sleeves caught in stuff as you do soldier stuff and whatever. This is why I'm having difficulty pulling it all the way down. And you see also this material, the composite material, it's gonna assume the shape of what you store it as. So if you store it flat, it's gonna be flat like this. You can bend it back to form easily. But yeah, so this is how I do it. I just, wrap it around my hand to protect it from those tiny scratches, and I just slide it in. So be mindful with this composite material of that. So taking it off is not a problem, so I'm gonna do that now. And into the corner it goes. Well, the elephant in the room, or the main part of what I'm showing to you now, this here is, well, I would say if not 100%, then a lot of percent upcycling. Because those kinds of scraps, it's the kind of stuff I usually just ditch. So after I've cut my actual armor parts, and by actual I mean like for other projects, stuff that is supposed to have a specific shape, stuff that is not supposed to look so chaotic, what is left in terms of aluminum scraps and sheets after that, this is what I used here. Because I always get those scraps, and instead of throwing them away, I decided like, okay, I'm gonna round off the edges and I'm gonna just attach them to each other. So you see here, an important part from the design standpoint to keep in mind is that the shape of this, the outer shape, like the whole thing, it has not 100% but kind of defined shape. It's like, so like this, and this down here on the belly is also like it's a square. So the outer shapes are solid, they're orderly, but the inside is chaotic. So as usual, I've said this a lot, and if you're new to my channel, you need to hear this. Post-apocalyptic designs need to have as much order as they have chaos. Post-apocalyptic designs, at least good ones, are not all just chaos and all over the place and you can do what you want and it will look good no matter what. No, you still need to balance order and chaos in your costume. So here I'm doing this by a relatively orderly outer shape with a complete chaos in here. So the way I crafted this is just put those pieces on top of each other and bolt through them. Didn't use any washers here because, you know, it's all metal and it would have been just too many washers aesthetically. So that's pretty much it. And as the padding for this is another part of my Russian Telegreka. Although I think it was actually also from a German army winter padding, jacket, vest, whatever kind of thing. So Germans apparently also have the Telegreka. Anyway, it's like a padded winter jacket kind of thing. And up here you can see there is this metal hook. And for this I use this big round, what it is, thumb screw or whatever. And it holds my hood in place. I've already shown you the hood in another episode, but let's look at the color interplay between the hood on the inside here. Look how cool it looks with the red, and also the red here. And also this yellowish, orange-ish here. I did this on purpose to echo this a bit. It's not precise because, as you see, the whole thing is supposed to have like more chaos than I usually have in my costumes. That was one of the things I wanted to do. So it's not the exact same tone. And I didn't have the exact same tone spray anyway, so like whatever. So the hood is held in place just here, and other than that it just sits on the shoulders. I mean, it's the same hood as you've seen in my video about hoods, including making butt hoods, which are apparently a thing now. On one LARP, they even have like butt hood faction, like all of them wear jeans butt hoods apparently, which I think is great. So yeah, back to the armor. You see that it's held in place on my body with those big buckles right here. This is something I do a lot of times because it just makes sense, it looks cool, and you know, those big buckles are cool. And additionally, down here, I'm gonna just tilt my camera now. Down here we have this one buckle just on one side. It's on stretch material on one side, so that I can get around and clasp it in. And it goes through a loop that is on this plate. I will show it to you as I take it off. And it doesn't open on the other side. Here it's just, you know, one belt. And it has crossed itself, I think. It's twisted, untwisted. Yeah, something like that. And underneath you see the corset from the composite material. So, first of all, as I undress myself, let's do with the hood. But before that, one important point. I've talked about chaotic termination and orderly termination. Termination being how something ends. So you see this border right here, it's orderly. It's like not even a scissor cut. It's just like really, really orderly. It's a solid line, pretty much. While here we have the same fabric, but it's a completely chaotic termination. It's, you know, all distressed and ripped up. Same as down here with this white fabric, and up here. So that's another kind of an interplay kind of thing where they play with each other, right? It's a visual rhythm. That's a very important aspect. To get some sort of a visual rhythm, it doesn't have to be this one. All right, let's get undressing. So I open those buckles on the sides, and this one just can't wait to open. Oh, wait, I didn't show you the back. So first let's take off the hood then. So here goes the hood, and this is the back, man. I don't see it right now. What did I do there again? Oh, it's that. Yeah, it's just some, you know, from the construction store, those metal parts with the holes in them. I'll get to those in a sec. You see asymmetric leather belts, and this belt is actually continued with a part of this belt, like I didn't have enough. So that was like a theme of this armor, like really using actual scraps, but also making it look like it was made out of scraps in the world. In the fictional universe I created it for. So here is the back. So this is from the construction store. You know, you find a lot of that. Those are other drywall connectors for connecting drywalls. I've shown you some of them on my Gauss rifle in the past. That's another type. So all of this stuff is from the construction store, except this in the middle. That used to be like the bottom part of a keyboard, like a small 10 keyless keyboard. Yeah, so this is what the back looks like. Here's where the belt attaches, one of the top belts. And here on the small of my back, like this is a loop right here, and through that loop goes the bottom belt. So that, like here is the back in that direction. Now let me swap directions so better light. Yeah. So it goes like this and goes around the body. So this way it doesn't like flop around. It stays close to the body. And here, what it looks like on the inside of this. So here is one of the older pieces of wrapped foam that I've had. So I just had that piece of foam lying around and I wanted to get rid of it already. So I did metal parts on top of it to match its outer shape. And by the way, those metal parts, if you do something like this, be careful to remove all the sharp edges, right? I think I already said this, but it's a really important point to keep in mind. Like you see, I have acute angles here and all that, yes, but they're not sharp anymore. I really filed them off, sanded them off, cut them off on my scroll saw, so I don't hurt myself or others when I hug them or whatever. Not a lot of that going on currently due to Corona and all that, but whenever there are conventions again, you know. Oh, that's a sharp part right here. Messed up here a little bit. Need to rework it. I don't know if you can see it, like there is a tiny part that is sharp. Yeah, I'll make a note of that. In fact, I'm gonna just, well, marking it with black will not do a lot of good right now. Anyway, I'll just get rid of that. Yeah. So, this is a type of weird design that, like, I never did something like this before. Like, usually I would just go and make a thing that can be used on its own, because this is specifically designed to be used with a top vest that covers the chest. Look, it's not connected in any way. It's just flopping around here. Why is it even up here? So that when I'm wearing my armor, on top of it, I also have these belts. Like this middle part is not even visible. It's just there to, you know, to get those belts up there. So I've had the choice between like crossing them across the body all the way around, right? I just didn't have enough of those belts left, by the way. And I wanted them symmetric on both sides of my body. So that was the first choice, crossing them like this, like just continuing it, but that was not an option. Other would have been like going from here, like there, and going around the back. But then again, I was just like, screw it. I'm just gonna connect it on the chest. I have my chest plate here anyway, and done. Like, it's supposed to be a costume, two costume pieces that work together. So there is that. And it opens up like this. I'm gonna tilt the camera down again. And this right here just has a lot of Velcro here. You see that this is a Velcro piece attached with 4 bolts. You don't have to sew a Velcro. You can just bolt it with washers, like I do with everything. If you have a good sewing machine or just like hand sewing, like some people enjoy hand sewing, for me it's just slow torture. So, let me tilt it even more. This is what it looks like here. And by the way, this here goes to the thigh. Like this is connected firmly, unadjustably, unremovably with the thigh. Like this. And this is, yeah, another piece. You've guessed it already. And down here we have some Koppeltragegestell, which I can open like this. I'm gonna actually do that now. So this is the thigh plate, just on one side. Alright, so what does the back of it look like? Well, it could have been just one solid piece, but I had to make it from two, so this is like the center of the back. This goes along the spine. Just two pieces of it bolted to each other. Not much else to it. And if you want to know more about this kind of material, I have a video about that. That's like 2 videos ago or something. So yeah, this was my scrap armor. Because I've just noticed that I have so much scrap and wanted to rid of it, both the fabric scraps and the metal scraps. I still have some left, but this has helped me to process a lot of them and to make something interesting and cool, and also to get out of my groove that I was getting into of making things like too perfect. Things that could be in a post-apocalyptic dystopian world, but that in that world would be made by someone with a lot of attention and, you know, a lot of resources and materials, things that were for real found in a bunker, something like that, if you know what I mean. And this project helped me get not completely loose, but, you know, for my standards a little bit more loose on this. And it was fun, and I hope that you have found this entertaining as well, as much as I did, and that you have learned something. And if so, then I will see you in the next episode. And if you are a regular viewer, then consider supporting me on Patreon. That's one of the links in the video description, and really every pledge helps me make more of these videos for you and for other people watching. And also, if you want to get into talking with other people, there is also a link to the Nuclear Snail community group on Facebook. So I will see you then. Until then, hail the snail.